TLC tribe. It's Veronica Jones at the Life Coaching Co here. And today my special guest is Karina. And Karina's an entrepreneur and she's the founder of Ecom Co based in Sydney. Now, Karina got in touch with me because she had a burning desire to create and launch a new business. And she's joining us today just to share her story and her experience on the business coaching journey with me. So Karina, it's wonderful to have you here with us today. How are you?
Thank you. Really good. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, let's get to it. And I just wonder if you could perhaps start by just telling us a little bit about yourself and what initially led you to consider coaching with me.
So it was a bit of a crazy time. I actually got in touch with you just before I was working in my corporate role, as well as undergoing contractual negotiations by selling my own e-commerce business at the time. And I was setting up a new business doing my coaching. And what I thought I don't know, I had just a bit of an inkling that I needed just some guidance around holding myself accountable on certain actions, as well as I was just curious to know like what life coaching is and what that means. And I thought, there's just so much going on in my life at that time that it would have been best to just have someone there as like someone to support and just having a resource available to me during that time. So that's how I kind of came to, finding you and like really just kind of committing to doing, the work. And it was really great. Yeah.
Well, I'm so pleased you found me. Wonderful. And we got started on the journey. So yes. When you started this coaching journey, what specific challenges or opportunities were you facing that you felt you really wanted to address?
I found that I had a really great idea, but I was concerned that I could not action everything that I wanted to action. And I just didn't know how to kind of compartmentalize everything too. Setting up businesses and selling businesses and, having a lot of work on just in general, it made me feel very overwhelmed. And bringing you in and, letting you know what was happening was really critical for me to understand then what was next. And, we talked about tools and things like that to help me identify what I did need to do that day and what to prioritize. And that just helped me organize my day and ultimately let me, do everything that I needed to do to get the ball rolling for the business. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Really
great.
good.
And it was, it was so wonderful to actually get started in this journey with you and hear your great idea and knowing that, all right, well, we've got this opportunity here to really get this thing going and your willingness, like you said, to really commit and utilize all the tools I was giving you and really get this thing going. So actually on that note, can you remember or recall a point like which really prompted you to go, you know what, it's got to be now that I take this action and really invest in coaching? Was there any trigger or anything like that?
Not really, but in hindsight, I just thought, I think it was more just intuitive. Something I knew that, there was going to be a big change for me. And actually throughout that time, just I think a couple of weeks in, I was made redundant. And so I probably knew that I was going to be made redundant, like, maybe, another part of me thought that. And so it was really good to have you there to, support me through that, just changing my days and, having not, coming back off a corporate type of structured day to an entrepreneur day. Is completely different, and making that switch does take time. And there was definitely like in hindsight, I definitely think that it was a critical tool, like a resource, having you as a support, for me to not, get bogged down in the daily, tasks, and more just looking at it at a higher level and working on the business, not in the business.
So that's a really interesting reflection there, because many of us can often use the power of hindsight there when we've seen a particular situation take place and connect those dots working backwards. So I was actually wondering, in getting things going, we can often have certain hesitations, usually with thoughts of fear, doubt, and uncertainty with whatever we want to do, whether it's a business, career move, or what have you. So what do you believe was maybe holding you back just from getting your aspirations really going before you started coaching?
I think that having, I actually work with a lot of mindset, and I've been working on a lot of tools and resources myself over the last couple of years in that space, because as an entrepreneur and having my own business in the past, you do, it is a bit of, there's lots of ups and downs, and knowing what I know about starting businesses, and particularly like the first, few months, there's a lot of, self-doubt. And I didn't necessarily join you for the sake of starting my business, but I did do it because I knew that there was something missing, and I just didn't know what was missing at the time. I was in a position where I probably, I probably could have gone by without having coaching, but my stronger instincts kind of led me to, committing to it. And that has been such a blessing in disguise, because there was just so much happening at the time, and selling a business is quite stressful. There's a lot of components to it, and there's a lot of negotiation to it too. And it's about knowing your worth too at the end of the day, and knowing what your business is worth. And with just, having that stability and having like these weekly catch-ups, and knowing what I needed to focus on every week really helped in kind of reducing that fear and reducing that need of like trying to figure things out on my own.
From that mindset perspective then, can you share perhaps how you noticed some of your thoughts and patterns sort of evolving and changing as you progressed through coaching?
Yeah, I think it was less about it was more about acknowledging what I felt, but then also saying, okay, but what are we going to do about it? What is the next step to, get into a better mindset? Or, a lot of visualizations that I've known to do in the past, but I never thought about doing it at the times that when I felt the way that I felt. And it was just a really great opportunity for me to then reflect back and go, well, what do I know in terms of mindset? What do I know in, my coaching style? And then applying that with then your help in everything else that I was doing really kind of helped in that sense.
Great to hear. And you're applying it.
Yeah.
Business sold, new business launched, full transition. Let's go. It was so good.
Yeah.
I was wondering, in terms of your entrepreneurial journey, many new entrepreneurs can struggle with decision making. There's so many options. What do I lock in? What do I do? So I was curious, how did coaching help you on the decision making front?
Immensely. It's something that a lot of my clients also suffer with, is that there's just so many options, so many people to invest in, and you really just don't know who to invest in. And I feel like after just our breakthrough, session, I just felt like, we were very aligned, and I felt comfortable in speaking to you about things, and that is, I think, a really important thing to have, particularly if, you know, you're unlocking a resource like you. I think that, you know, for those that are on the fence, not really knowing what to do or are feeling overwhelmed in just life in general, having someone like you to really just ascertain what is key right now to focus on. Like, there's a lot of other things to focus on, but what is actually the key? What's the point? And then focus on that. And then everything just kind of falls in line. Like, it's all about, you know, knowing your value, knowing what lights you up, and what if you were to prioritize this one thing, will that have a greater impact than something else in your life? And it's just trying to understand that and talking through that with you, and, you know, with all your resources, and trying to figure out that really helps. So someone that has, you know, like, is overwhelmed and just doesn't know where to turn to, not just in the sense of starting up a business, but just also, like, I was made redundant. Like, that was like a big thing too, because it's that loss of stability. But also, and I didn't see it coming, but I must have kind of felt it, something was happening. But I was in a fortunate position where I had something else to really just quickly flip the switch. Mm-hmm. And it was something that, like, I was still kind of keen on, but I wasn't doing it full time. But now I'm doing that full time, and it's working out for me. And that just feels like I'm just more aligned and doing what I love, and using all the, you know, everything that I've learned over the years, and I'm applying it to now what I'm doing on my day-to-day things. Whereas before it was quite disjointed. I was doing like a day job, doing my e-commerce, then, you know, running digital marketing for clients, and it was very disjointed. Like, I was all over the place. And just, you know, now knowing that I've got that one thing to turn to and to focus on, it really does help. It simplifies everything, and it just makes life just so much easier to focus. Yeah.
I love that. And, you know, you and I did some work on this in our coaching sessions, and that focus, all these tasks we have as entrepreneurs to do, like, let's hone in on one thing. What's going to move the needle in my business today? What's going to make a difference in my life today? Rule all the other things out. We focus on that one task, get it done. And what a sense of satisfaction, number one, from the mindset perspective, good, we feel motivated, but two, we're actually getting that momentum in business. So you did that so well. So, you know, I commend you on that, because obviously you got the results. You're doing what you're doing now. Yeah. That leads me to goal setting, actually, because I wondered, from your perspective, goal setting and accountability, you know, they play huge roles in any business. How did that element of our coaching together, that goal setting and that accountability, really help with actually moving the needle for your business?
Yeah, I think there's two components to this. There's one where we do talk about, you know, that one task, one task every day. You know, there's so much more to do during that day, but if you can just do that one thing, is that going to move that needle? And also too, I love our tree. You know, if we've got that, you know, a few things that we need to do, then we then go to the next level, and it's just trying to figure out, what do I need to do to get that one task done? If it's a big, you know, big rock kind of thing. And I love how you just simplify everything and just break everything down to make it so simple and easy to complete. And it's then not as overwhelming as what you kind of just set yourself up for, you know, particularly if you mull over it like time and time again, and then, you know, maybe it's just a too hard basket task. That way, you know, you can really simplify things and get it done.
Absolutely. And that when we simplify things down like that and we make them bite-sized chunks from a mindset perspective, it feels so much more digestible in terms of achieving what we want to achieve overall. And there was always an interesting phrase that I learned through my coaching when I first started, and that was, what's the best way to eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Quite bizarre, really, but
I can remember that.
It makes sense. Like little pieces. All right. So what I'm wondering then is, as you're working through this coaching program with me, what do you feel were some of the competencies that you really learned that helped you get that momentum and really get your business going?
I think it is just getting that momentum.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what I found, like, I'm a serial procrastinator.
That's
I
great.
Really am. But having you there and, you know, making me accountable and checking in on me, you know, asking, have you done this? You know, I've made that commitment the previous week, and you know, following up and saying, you know, have you done that? I never wanted to disappoint. And so, that really helped me, just keeping me accountable. But secondly, I think what I've taken away from that is that I have to, you know, if there is a bigger task, then I do need to break it down. And I also have to give myself a date, like a deadline to do that, because otherwise I will just keep on procrastinating, whether the task is, you know, big or small. And that is definitely key to just, you know, getting things done. And by getting things done, like action creates clarity for me. And so if the more I do actions and the more I, you know, move my business and do more bits and pieces within my business, the more clear I get in what I want to do and how I want to achieve things and how I want to roll out things for my clients. So yeah, that really helps.
Yeah, perfect. So true about deadlines. Isn't it surprising when we feel like we've got an amount of time that the thing may or may not get done, yet when we're like, this is it, lock in deadline, we really drive ourselves to get that completed by that time frame. It's a real key move in actually achieving what you want to achieve. Set yourself deadlines and stick to them. Yeah, and you did, which is so good. So as you were actually working through this journey of coaching, then you're setting your goals, you're setting your deadlines and so on, you're getting that momentum. What specific results did you actually notice that were playing out for you in your business and in life?
I you know, launched my first course and I started getting clients in there.
Yeah.
Yay. I was also able to easily kind of get over the corporate role very quickly. I think more so with your help than like doing it just by myself. Like there's a number of people that I've spoken to, and it's funny because when you're made redundant, a lot of people are like that's not a good thing. Whereas for me, it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me, because I left a role that really I was getting a little bit more stale in, because I was having, you know, interests outside of work, and I already had a business that I was starting to grow, and I was getting rid of another business. I was a busy mum. So, and, you know, looking after my kids. So, you know, having that space and that time with you really helped me identify what I really wanted and how I could achieve that, and kind of just aligned everything, like set everything up, prioritize things. I think moving forward, like it's just really good to kind of have that and like have that momentum going. And it's just like one step in front of the other. That's all it takes. There's not like, you don't have to run, you don't have to sprint. Like it is just, you know, one step after the other. And mindset is 80% of business. Like it really is that space where if you're not feeling into it, then how can you be successful? And you really brought me out of, you know, a couple of days where I felt like, you know, oh, I'm not ready, or, you know, I just don't want to do it today. And it really helped just bringing me out of that and making things more clear to be able to then start taking that next step.
Awesome. I'm so pleased it did. And a great point you raised there about on the mindset piece too. So, you know, you looked at the redundancy that you had as something totally different to, you know, what others might perceive it as, for example. So you decided to make the meaning of that something positive for yourself. And that's a key in any of this mindset piece with careers, life, business, whatever it might be. What do we choose to make a particular event mean? And you made that meaning empowering for you, and you just took it to the next level with your business, and you kept putting these things in play, which were brilliant to see. And in this competitive world of e-commerce in which you're in at the moment, I wondered what strategies or approaches did you start adopting with the guidance of coaching?
Question, strategies. And well, I think that with the coaching, it's definitely informed me how much of an impact mindset is, and to that point that I'm actually creating like a mindset course within my course.
Yes.
That I think really would resonate with, you know, my clientele, because it's a battle. Like mindset is a battle, and you have to work on it on a daily basis in order to like live the life that you want. And it doesn't necessarily have to be specific for business, but it can also be for your personal journey, and just having a fulfilling life just in general. Like, everyone deserves to be happy, and putting mindset as your number one priority is definitely key. If you feel like other things run your life and you're not prioritizing your mindset, then I really encourage you to, you know, really relook at that. Because what I've noticed now in my business is that I am doing coaching. I'm coaching e-commerce clients, and they come to me and go, hey, you know, I'm in a bit of a funk.
Right.
Can you give me some advice? And so that's where I'm like, yeah, I've got tons of advice. I'm really applying things that, you know, even like the one task strategy, you know, that we spoke about, I'm applying that in their business. And,
right.
You know, and it's just having those strategies that you can continuously use. And it's a toolbox. You know, you give me the resources and the tools that I can use to get over those humps, and I can share them with my clients, which is great. So
amazing. I love it. We're just sharing the love. We're passing on the knowledge. Great. And implementing. Perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah. And also I was wondering, just in terms of setbacks you might have encountered, just as you were going along in terms of the business and its growth and so on, how did you navigate some of those challenges using the tools that you were learning in coaching?
I think just like navigating those tools and utilizing them, I think it was more like on the spot. So, you know, when we were using them within our coaching calls, it was very much what I needed to know and see then and there in order to shift that needle. I don't think that there's necessarily a plan. And that's what I love about, you know, working with you, is that you have so many resources and tools out of your toolbox that you can provide, but it's really specific for that person. And for me, during that time, like growing the business, and, you know, I think it was just like, I know what I need to do to move forward, but there was a level of self-doubt there, and you really brought me out of that, and, you know, helped me motivate myself to then move forward, to move that needle in the business. So it's just, yeah, having that, like, and it's just part of business where there's just, it's a roller coaster. And having to navigate, like what I love about doing this the second time round, and also having you as a support, is that I was able to, like, everyone has ups and down days. Like, you can't not, like, it's just human. But what I love about it is that I've come away with having other tools in my toolbox to get out of those dips really quickly. Whereas I may be in there for a few days, and that's a few days worth of work, you know, that I'm putting aside if I was to not pursue, you know, tools and resources like what you've taught me. And so having that and having those tools to be able to just get out, like, immediately, literally immediately, has done wonders, because I still use those tools to this day.
Incredible. And you've squatted yourself up. You put me on your squad, and we were able to tool you up in that way. And now look how you're rolling those out. That's sensational to hear. On the note of squatting up and getting, you know, networks and alliances or professional relationships going, obviously collaboration and outsourcing, you know, can be a real key part of business growth when you're on the entrepreneurial journey. So I wondered, how did coaching influence your approach to developing business relationships and leveraging those?
I'm a natural networker, so it's easy for me. And I feel like everyone that kind of comes into my life and I let in has a purpose of some sort. And I do feel like, you know, having coaching with you has definitely, I think I've just kind of been more open to doing more collaborations and knowing what assets people bring too, like what else that they can help me, particularly in the space that I'm working in. You know, I've got access to people that are growing their business and growing their e-commerce product-based business. So it is important for me to collaborate and network within the space from the get-go, and utilizing past contacts too. What I love though about, like, you, and also, like, you've got clientele too that would, you know, be in the same situation, is that we can all work together, and we can, you know, it's almost like we're just all working for the greater good. Like, we're all kind of working towards just helping others and making life seamless for others. And and that's what I just love about it. I think that, you know, coaching doesn't necessarily bring collaboration, but it's how you think about it, and how it is more around thinking, you know, what's in it for me? What can I use now moving forward? How can I get the best out of this resource? And that's what coaching really is about, is it's leveraging those resources.
Absolutely. On that note too, you know, obviously resource leveraging, so on, is such a great way to free up time. And often I hear from my clients, and you probably heard this too, there's a real challenge for solopreneurs to strike that work-life balance. And then, of course, you know, putting boundaries in place comes into that piece to really support us. So I wondered, from your perspective, what empowering boundaries did you start putting in place during our coaching journey?
Going to bed early.
Yes.
Going to bed early. I was, in the last 4 years, I've been going to bed at like 2 a.m. every night. So it's taken some time for me to get to that place where I felt like I didn't need to work past the kids' bedtime. So going to bed early for me is a big one, and I feel so much better for that. Also, morning routine, getting really into that habit of what works for me, and what works for me is getting up super early, going to the gym straight away, not having to think about it or mull it over, and actually doing it as soon as I wake up. And that's what lights me up. You know, it lights my body up, it lights my mindset up. And then moving through, you know, doing the 5 minutes of meditation, journaling, and then, you know, actions off the back of that to what do I need to do to then move the needle in my business. And this is all within, you know, the first hour of getting up, and just having that consistency too. Coaching really helped me make that a daily habit, not just I have to do that because it will make me feel better. It's actually creating habits.
Yeah, definitely. Habits that support our success. Now you've completed coaching, I wondered from your perspective also, how does it feel? How does it feel to be on the other side?
It feels really good. Look, I think that coaching is definitely necessary. Like, I'm now at this point where I'm just so busy that I don't have time for the coaching. But I think that it's really important to invest in just, you know, having a coach, because even, you know, the greatest Olympians and the greatest sports people, they have a coach. Like, everyone needs a coach. And I strongly believe that. Whether it be, you know, life coaching, whether it be for your business, whether it be for your finances even, like, you need to have people that have already been through it to then help you through it. And, you know, the best way forward is to, like, learn from other people's mistakes, really. And I'm feeling great about everything. Like, it's, yeah, like, I'm just snowballing, which is fantastic. Not downwards.
No,
upwards.
in a positive way.
Not a positive way.
It's a positive snowballing effect.
Exactly.
So on that note then of the positive snowball that's rolling around here, just building momentum, what do you appreciate most about who you've become in this process of coaching?
I think just having the ability to reflect on, like, the last 3 months and go, wow, like, this has been a big time. Like, if I was to reflect back, I've never had a massive year in just changes. And, you know, there's been some really key milestones that have happened all at the same time, like literally within the same week of it all. And I'm really proud how I've been able to handle things and have really pushed past, you know, expectations. And I see myself definitely, like, just, it's a growing thing. You know, I think that I'm like laying the foundations of what the future kind of holds for me. And I think it's just really important to kind of, you know where you are, but also reflect back, and then also kind of envision the future as well. And, you know that it is coming, whatever you want.
Yeah, I love that. So what advice would you give to other entrepreneurs now who might be looking to scale, you know, launch and or scale their business?
I think invest in coaching. But yeah, seriously, I think, yes, you can do it by yourself, but it's going to cost a lot more money, and it's going to take you a lot of time, and it's going to cost you a lot of headaches. So why not get the coaching that you need to move the pin forward, move the needle forward, and do it quicker, so that, you know, whatever you want, you know, entrepreneurs, we have a different mindset. You know, we don't think about stability and things like that. We want freedom. We want a freedom-fulfilled life. And in order to get that, it's either you need to hustle, or you need to do, you know, you need to make mistakes to learn and grow. But if you can learn from someone that has already done it, it makes things a little bit more seamless, a little bit less of a headache, and also gives you a resource to reach out to and go, hey, I'm struggling. What do I need to do to get back on the horse? And it's just understanding you as an individual as well, because you know how you work, and we're not all the same. but having someone that is open to, you know, giving you bits and pieces and activities to work on, and, you know, to focus on little bits that you might not even think they're a big thing in your life, but it could be, you know, the way that you envision yourself, or the way that you envision your business, or, you know, it's just those little things that really add up to success. And we all want to be successful. We want you to be successful. So, you know, get on the bandwagon for coaching, because at the end of the day, if you go solo and do it yourself, then it's just going to be so much harder for you, not anyone else. It's, you know, you're putting yourself in that position.
For sure. It's you know, similar thinking to okay, we need some legal advice. Do I trawl through all the case law and so on to try and build more case? Do I just lawyer up?
Yeah.
Do I go through all, like, my accounts, try and work out the legislation for how I might get the best return on a particular item I bought? Or do I just go to an accountant? You know, it's that same sort of thinking, isn't it? Yeah.
That's right. And I think people don't realize that, like, your mental blocks really show in numbers in your business.
Yes.
And, you know, mental for me is number one. Like, if I'm in a really great mental state, then you can see it's reflected in my business.
Definitely.
And if I'm not, then you can also see that, you know, I'm struggling financially. I'm just not, you know, getting the clients I want. I'm not selling the products that I want. And it's because it's all coming from within. And once you understand that and understand how everything is all interlinked, then there's going to be a better you, a better, you know, person, and also a better business.
Definitely. Your state affects your results. Absolutely. Love that.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering now, you've been through this coaching journey, and I'm wondering if you can describe yourself now in 3 words that capture the essence of who you are now that you've completed coaching.
Motivator, manifester, and a resource.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
I love that. We'll have to create a mantra for you on that now, based on
I know.
Well, I really appreciate all the insight you've given today. It's been so amazing. And perhaps you might be able to share now, just with the audience, how they can check out 𝗕𝗏𝗀, how they can find you, how they could perhaps get in touch with you.
So there's 2 ways you can, well, there's 3 ways you can come and follow me on Instagram or TikTok. That's 𝗕𝗏𝗀.com.au. That's my handle. Or you can come to my website and book a free strategy call with me. And that is www.𝗕𝗏𝗀.com.au. Or you can send me an email, and that's hello@𝗕𝗏𝗀, that's ECOMCO.com.au.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that, and for you know, the entrepreneurs out there who are wanting to get going in this e-commerce space. You can tell what a beautiful lady Karina is, also with that heart-centered approach to really delivering and making a difference. And of course, she's got the knowledge and the skill set to back that up too. So please do reach out to her. And so for anyone who's perhaps thinking of starting a business, would like to support that entrepreneurial mindset, in addition to perhaps, you know, strategies that can boost your business's success, please do feel free to get in touch with us. You can reach out to us at 𝗨H𝗶𝗀.com.au. We're on Facebook as well, which you can find us at facebook.com/𝗨LifeCoachingCo, or we're on Instagram as well at @𝗨LifeCoachingCo. So to everyone who's joined us today, thank you so much. Karina, thank you for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure. Can't wait to see your continued success.
Thank
and
you.
Remember, master your mindset, secure your success.